Hey, all right. We're live. It's the Android Headline Show. This is episode 73. My name is Jeremiah from the site. I am joined tonight by Alex. You want to say what's up, man?
What's up, everyone?
Hey, so yeah, Nick is bailed on us again. He said, I'm too cool for you guys. I'm going to go. No, that's not true. He's on a work trip for his day job, so he's sitting this one out. He'll be back next week. But tonight is the 21st of August. Like I said, this is episode 73. It's crazy, man. Crazy to think we're creeping up on 75, almost 100 shows.
Yep.
So that's exciting. We got a lot to talk about. Sprint has some new plans this week, some new shared data plans, and then just today announced some new individual plans with truly unlimited data. No throttling or anything. T-Mobile came right back with their own unlimited data option for a refer a friend. So we'll dive into that. OnePlus is expanding into India. Meanwhile, Viva Movil, that MVNO with Jennifer Lopez, shut down. They're no longer in business. So good job, Verizon. The Sharp announced an Aquos crystal smartphone with no bezel and some kind of a like weird earpiece, like some kind of resonance. It doesn't have a standard earpiece for making phone calls. The Moto X Plus One for Verizon leaked out today. Barnes & Noble unveiled the Galaxy Tab 4 Nook. The Humble Bundle this time around is all SEGA games, so that's exciting too. But let's jump into some of this stuff here, Alex. First things first, Sprint unveiled some new shared data plans this week. So these plans, the shared data plans it's a little convoluted, like carrier plans are. But in it, you can get 4 people on a family plan with 20 gigs of data, unlimited minutes, and texting for $160 a month, which is about what it would run you on any other carrier, but it's like double the data which you get on Verizon or AT&T.
Yep, it's double. It's even double what you get on T-Mobile with their latest plan. That's $100. But there's
a big deal. Right. But if Sprint works in your area, it's a pretty big deal. It could be a good deal for you.
Yep.
If you use a lot of data, the new shared data plans, you can actually put up to 10 people on them, and they're basically replacing Sprint's family plans.
Yep.
So Sprint's going to phase those family plans out and replace them with these new shared data plans. It's just for a limited time. The plans won't be here forever. So if you're on Sprint or thinking about switching to Sprint, it's not a bad time to do it. They also announced just today some new single line plans for $60 a month. They get you truly unlimited everything. Minutes, texting, data, no throttling, no nothing. Just unlimited everything, $60. And this is part of their. Go ahead, man.
I was just gonna say it's not bad at all. I wrote it like this morning, but it's been a long day. I don't remember if that's only for like the pay-as-you-go stuff. Like, you know how like on T-Mobile you can get it for $0 down and pay a certain amount a month for the phone, or if that's like a 2-year contract.
I'm looking it up now because the new shared data plans, you have to switch to an easy pay plan.
Yeah.
For your phone. Well, no, I take that back. The shared data plans you can get on a contract. Sprint is also buying out contracts, like T-Mobile does. That's on a limited time. They're only running that through, I think, September. It kicks off tomorrow, August 22nd. but Sprint will give you up to $350 towards your early termination fee to cancel with your current cell provider.
Yep.
But you have to get on an easy pay plan and buy your phone that way in order to take advantage of that offer.
Yep.
T-Mobile's been running that for a while. They still are.
Yeah, they've said that they're not going to stop running it, actually.
Yeah. So we don't have any kind of cancellation on it. They're T-Mobile, that's just a ongoing thing. Sprint's just trying it for a little while.
Yep, probably trying to see how it, if it really does anything for them. I mean, with the $60 a month, it really caught my eye. I mean, I'm paying $50 a month right now on T-Mobile for 1 gigabyte, but I don't even use that.
Right, and that's the thing.
If Sprint had better data speeds over here, I'd probably switch. But then again, I can't just take out my SIM and put in another phone if I go to Sprint.
Yeah, and that's nice, being able to get an unlocked phone or another T-Mobile branded phone, just switch the SIM out.
Yep, like I get a lot of unlocked phones to review, and it's either put my T-Mobile SIM in it or just put it in airplane mode. And that really doesn't do it justice, because it can skew like battery stats and stuff.
Yep. But if Sprint's good in your area, man, that is a good deal. $60, totally unlimited, no throttling.
Frankie is saying that it's all easy pay for all the new plans.
Yeah, and I was just looking at it. Thank you, Frankie.
Which is what I was thinking. Of course, they still have that clause in the fine print about they reserve the right to throttle if it's like a busy tower or whatever.
Yeah, and that's we were talking about that before the show started. Yeah. That's in the terms and conditions for all their stuff.
Yep. It basically for every carrier, really.
Yep. So that's not specific to these new unlimited plans, but it's a pretty good deal. T-Mobile wasted no time in shooting right back.
Well, that actually came out before Sprint's individual plan did.
Oh, did it? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, all right then. I got a little bit of an echo. See if we can get that fixed. But yeah, so T-Mobile rolled out before Sprint's new individual plans a refer a friend unlimited data plan. So you can get, if you refer somebody to T-Mobile, they sign up, you both get unlimited data for a year, for 12 months. So it's a pretty good deal too. And this is what Sprint was looking to start doing with discounting these data plans. They wanted to kind of spur like a war with these.
I'm fine with a war. I mean, as long as they can make at least some money so they can both improve their networks, because they both could use it.
Yeah, that's for sure, man. They definitely could both use it.
I mean, if they're going to keep undercutting each other, that's fine for the consumer, but it's not always good for them as a company, especially the shareholders and investors.
Yep. But so yeah, I'm interested now to see what else T-Mobile does, if Sprint has anything else up their sleeves, and whether or not Verizon and AT&T, start paying attention to any of this.
I think with Sprint doing it now, I think it's going to get more attention from Verizon and AT&T, because that's both of your competitors instead of just T-Mobile, like your smallest competitor.
Right, and T-Mobile's still the smallest by subscriber base.
Yep.
And if Sprint jumps in, now you're over 100 million customers that can take advantage of this stuff.
Yep, and T-Mobile was, they were getting the attention of Verizon and AT&T already, but I think they'll get even more with Sprint now competing with T-Mobile on price.
Yep. In the long run, I don't think it's good for these wireless carriers, but I think that it's going to be good for consumers. So.
Yep, it's going to help, basically it's going to help Sprint, gain back all their customers. The hard part is going to be raising prices afterwards.
Right. have to grandfather these plans and switch people to new plans, and
Yep. They'll probably just add in new fees for you.
yeah, if you have a smartphone, it's $10 extra.
They did it before.
hmm And Verizon's going through these pains still, trying to switch people off these old unlimited
Yep.
plans.
But they don't want to let them go, which I don't blame them.
No, I don't either. If I hadn't switched off Verizon, I'd still have my unlimited data plan for sure.
Yep, same here.
But instead, I said, peace out. So, switching gears just a little bit. OnePlus is expanding into India. This amused me because they can't seem to get things right here in the U.S., but they're pushing to expand into new markets. I don't know if that means that they're going to stop focusing on the U.S. so much. Are they still going to maintain a presence here and just expand into India? Are they? I don't know, man. I can't figure these guys out.
I think they're gonna focus more on the Asian markets because that's basically what their marketing is towards, is all the Asian markets, because the type of marketing you're seeing from OnePlus is the same stuff you see from Xiaomi and Mizu and all those other smaller Chinese companies. So that's what I'm thinking, is they're gonna focus harder over there than they are over here. Not that it really looks like they're focusing over here anyways.
Well, and that's the thing. They're going to go push into India, but their marketing team is struggling here. Yeah. They're making stupid decisions, and the invite system is still ridiculous. And then they're doing weird contests where we didn't even talk about this last week, man. I forgot about it, but they're telling women to pose with the OnePlus logo and just ridiculous stuff that's not really acceptable. So, oh, hey, you just muted your mic, man, and that echo stopped. So I'm catching a little bit of an echo from your on your end. Yep, you unmuted and it's coming back. So
yeah, just switch mics and see what happens. Okay.
Whoa, now there's a bunch of background noise.
I was afraid of that. What about now?
Check. Yep, we're good.
Okay.
So
switched it to the built-in mic on my MacBook.
A little bit of technical difficulties there. Sorry about that. But hey, yeah, I appreciate you figuring out that echo, man. But yeah, so I don't know what to make of OnePlus. The device is still great, but I'm having a hard time supporting the company after really liking the device and being behind them. Like I said, I'm having a hard time supporting them because they're just not doing right by consumers, by their customers. People want to throw money at them, or at least did up until a month, 3 weeks, 4 weeks ago. People were still itching to get these phones. Just make it available on your website and sell it until it's sold out.
Yep.
You've got at least a few thousand or tens of thousands in a warehouse somewhere. Just sell them. So I don't understand what they're doing. Hopefully, somebody on their end understands what they're doing, but it doesn't seem like it.
Yeah, I mean, I know so many people that wanted a OnePlus, but now after, even before the G3 came out, everybody wanted one. But then once that came out, everybody jumped to the G3, and now September is coming up, and we've got 200 devices being announced in that first week. So it's going to be even harder to keep people interested in OnePlus after that.
Yeah, June was their window, and maybe the beginning of July.
Yep. I really liked the OnePlus one. It was a little bit too big for my taste, but I liked everything about it. If they made it a little smaller one, even got rid of the capacitive keys, it would be fine for me as far as size goes. It's just it's hard to support them and to defend them and stuff like that. It's getting tiring now.
Because they're not learning.
They're just making stupider and stupider mistakes, it seems to me.
Yep. Exactly. So if you're not going to learn from your screw ups, you know, there's
Yeah,
really no help for you at that point.
pretty
It's
much.
unfortunate. It is unfortunate. And then Viva Movil, excuse me, is shutting down.
Big surprise.
Yeah, so this was announced what at CES?
CTIA last year.
Yeah.
I think it was the spring one because they used to do a year. That was when we thought we were going to get the HTC One on Verizon, and we got that instead.
Yeah, because Verizon called like this big press event, and everybody showed up and they're like all excited, and then not so much. It was this weird MVNO that was geared towards the like Latin community with Jennifer Lopez as a spokesperson.
It wasn't even really like a MVNO. It was just like a Verizon store, but that was set up like geared towards Latinos. I don't even know what the point was.
Yeah, you're right. It wasn't.
They opened a couple in New York. There was one in Brooklyn, and I guess nobody went.
Yeah, so it was a specific retail store that was geared towards. I don't even know how you would like do. Does the Latino population shop differently than everyone
That's
else in America? It's just weird.
that's what JLo was saying during the like the press conference when she couldn't read the teleprompter and stuff.
I remember that, dude. It was ridiculous.
It was so bad. But I don't know. I don't remember exactly how she said it, but basically like how the phones are laid out, the tablets and how everything's laid out. Because when you walk into a carrier store, normally you see the phones and tablets in the front, all the accessories in the back because they want to push the phones and tablets. So I never went to the Vivo Mobile, so I don't know how it was set up.
Yeah, they opened them in New York City, Miami, LA, and there were 15 retail stores total. But yeah,
Oh, there were that many. I thought there was only 3.
so it wasn't okay. So they were an authorized retailer, a premium retailer for
Yeah.
Verizon with JLo's name on it. Anyway, that obviously was a horrible idea, and they're officially shutting their doors.
Yeah, because a little over a year later, it's gone.
Yep. So I said good job Verizon earlier. It wasn't really Verizon's fault. It's this retailer.
Yep.
Um,
Just blame JLo.
I guess she showed up for the press event and then never had anything else to do with it ever again.
Pretty much.
They gave
And you
her a
could
bunch of
tell,
money to use her face.
like the look on the face of the exec that was there, like standing next to JLo after it was over with. You could tell she looked kind of pissed.
Oh yeah, I'm sure because the teleprompter messed up and so
I don't
she
know if it messed up or what, but she just couldn't see the thing because she's like leaning all over the podium, like squinting at the teleprompter.
Yep. So it made her look pretty ridiculous.
Yeah.
I don't blame her for being upset if they're paying her a bunch of money and trying to use her likeness and they can't get things right. But so anyway, that's shut down. The only other news really that I saw this week was that Toyota was working on an infotainment center based around the Nexus 7. And so this was they basically took a Nexus 7 and like built it like built it into the dash for Toyota cars.
Basically, what it is almost like a dock that goes on your dash, and you can remove and insert the Nexus 7. If I watched the video when I wrote it up, I think it was yesterday or the day before. But you can basically insert your Nexus 7, take it out to do stuff like if you want to use it in the house or whatever. But it's pretty cool because there's like the driver side of the screen, then there's the passenger side. So like the passenger can change the radio or whatever, and the driver can see like how much battery is left because it's the car they showed it on was an electric car, so you can see how much battery is left or stuff like that for the car. It was actually really cool.
Yeah, and if especially if it's something that they sell separately,
Yep.
as an attachment that you can then wire into your car yourself and just dock your Nexus 7, it would probably be less expensive than ripping out your dash and putting in.
And
Yeah, exactly.
I'm
Uh,
waiting to see what kind of aftermarket stuff we get for Android Auto though, because I think we'll see a lot of stuff for that.
a whole bunch of stuff like this. I bet. You know.
I bet like Garmin and all those guys will probably jump into.
Yep. So we haven't heard a whole lot about Android Auto since it was announced.
Yeah, it's supposed to launch in the fall, so I expect to see more like around October or so.
And the auto industry always moves slowly. So there's that too.
I'll probably see a whole lot like when the auto show hits Detroit in January, and I think LA is in February.
Yep. Yep. So we'll keep an eye on that. But I thought that was pretty interesting. So let's jump into you want to jump into some hardware stuff, man?
Sure.
So Sharp announced this new Aquos Crystal smartphone with no bezel. Doesn't have a bezel on it. It's the whole front is just all screen.
Well, except
Well,
for
there's
the bottom has some stuff in there.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. There's a little bit of a bezel on the bottom.
It's weird because like the earpiece and the camera's at the bottom. Although there's a Sony phone, I think the Z1 or no, the ZL. I think the camera was on the bottom.
Yeah, and so there's just a little bit of bezel on the bottom. You're right. It's got the front-facing camera on the bottom and the speaker, and it's got like a direct wave receiver instead of an earpiece, so it uses some kind of like resonance on the glass to be able to hear when someone calls you, which I thought was pretty cool. I don't know if it's going to work. I don't know how well you'll be able to hear somebody when you're on a phone call.
It doesn't have like amazing specs, but it is $239 off contract. So there's that.
And it's coming to Sprint here in the U.S.
Yep. And the day before they announced it for Sprint, me, Justin, and I think Chris, we were talking like internally, like SoftBank should just bring some Sharp phones over to Sprint because Sharp is basically exclusive to SoftBank in Japan. And then the next day, there you go. Because
Yep.
that's basically Sharp's entry into the U.S. is through SoftBank now.
Which I'm fine with, man, because there's some really cool phones in Japan that up until now really never made it over here.
Yep, and not even just Japan, but like really all the Asia markets. The HTC Butterfly, all those devices are really nice. They're basically what the One should have been.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we talked a little bit about that last week.
It happens every year.
So maybe now we'll see. Now, unfortunately, they're all going to come on Sprint. They're not going to
Yeah.
end
Well,
up
this one's on
off GSM.
Sprint. This one's on Sprint, Virgin Mobile, and Boost Mobile.
Which for $240, like I'm tempted to go pick one up just to
Yeah.
see what it's all about, you know. So you're right, the specs are not high end, but for $240 off contract,
Yeah.
it's a pretty cool concept. With this earpiece or the direct wave receiver, it vibrates the front panel of the display. And so you just have to put your ear somewhere on the glass, and the vibrations are supposed to pass right into your ear, so you can hear when somebody calls you. Again, I don't know how well it's going to sound, how good it'll sound, but
Yeah. We haven't gotten any hands-on time with it yet, but we should have one soon. I don't remember what the release date was on it though.
yeah, I didn't see. I'm assuming
Probably
it's coming this fall.
Probably tomorrow because everything on Sprint is releasing tomorrow, like all their new plans.
Yeah, they probably set that up to launch with the new plans.
Yeah. I have to look into it and see.
Lenovo and Motorola are launching a bunch of new phones this year too. So we saw a leaked roadmap for Lenovo that they're launching 5 new devices by the end of the year.
Which that's not surprising because they announce a new phone at like every trade show, and we have one coming up in a couple weeks.
Yeah, we're expecting to see some stuff from them at IFA. So
Yep.
we also heard a rumor that Motorola could launch 8 new phones by Christmas.
Now that one's a bit more crazy, I guess I would call it. I'm pretty sure we're seeing 2 at their event in September, but other than that, I don't know what the 8 other devices are going to be. I'm sure probably about 3, 4 of them are going to be Droid devices from Verizon though. So that puts up to about 6. I guess maybe we're going to see a phablet, unless they're counting like wearables as well.
Well, we heard three of those are going to be the X Plus One, the Moto G2, and the
Yep.
new Moto E. So that's
Is the
three
new
of the
Moto
five.
E coming out this year? Because it just came out a few months ago.
Well, we saw a leak for it, didn't we?
Hey, I don't remember seeing one. Doesn't mean it happened, but I don't remember it.
I thought the leak today had the new Moto E on it. Maybe I'm wrong about
Uh,
that.
that's the Moto X plus one, but it looks like the X, the G, and the E mixed together.
Oh, right. Okay. Okay. Yeah. 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 Which I wasn't really a big fan of the way that new Moto X looks.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's got front-facing speakers, but I mean they tried to fix what everybody complains about on the HTC One with their front-facing speakers is all the bezel, but the speakers just don't look good at all.
and I'm sure it'll perform well. You know,
Yep.
uh, we'll see. It does have the two flashes on the back around the camera.
Yeah, the camera and the like the dimple on the back, they just don't look right to me. They don't look good either. I like the dimple on the Moto X because you're holding it. Same with like with the G3 or G2, you've got your finger by the power button all the time. I always have my finger on that dimple and got used to it.
So and maybe it'll look better when it's actually live and not just these renders. The leaks that we saw today were actually from from FLeaks, who retired, 2 weeks ago or whatever, and came back and said, this is a retirement gift.
Maybe it's another hoax.
Could be. I mean, it looks legit.
Yeah, it looks pretty legit. The other like hoaxes, they didn't look as clear as this. So I'm just hoping that it's not real because it does not look nice at all.
And it may be one of those things that just it looks better in person. But
But with the wood back, that tells me that Moto Maker is still gonna be around, or some form of it will be.
well, and they said that they weren't necessarily going to shut down Moto Maker. They just weren't going to have it in the U.S. anymore.
Yeah, they said they'd still be able to ship it like within 3 to 5 days from China, so I'm guessing they're doing overnight from there.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so we got the new Moto X, the Moto G2. That's two of the eight. If we figure that Verizon, I don't know how Verizon would still be getting Droid devices, but maybe they licensed them to get a few more. We'll get
I
probably
know
three more of those.
I know last year Verizon said Motorola is now the exclusive maker of Droid devices, but they didn't say how long that contract was for. So I'm just guessing that we're gonna see some more Droid devices because we saw a Droid. There's some kind of Droid that leaked out this week. I can't think of the name of it, but it's supposed to be like a high end one. So I'm figuring probably about 30, like the Droid, Droid Max, and the Droid Mini. You might see a phablet or something like that too.
Well, we heard that they were working on a 5.9-inch Nexus device. So maybe it's going to be a 5.9-inch just Motorola device, a phablet, and then also the Motorola Nexus at 5.2 inches.
Yeah, I kind of forgot about the Nexus, but they're also supposed to be working on an Android Silver device as well. But that probably won't come out this year.
Mm-mm.
Probably Q1 or Q2 of next year. Because that's when
Android
the
Silver.
others. That's when the others are rumored to come out.
Yeah, Android Silver wasn't supposed to launch until 2015 anyway.
Yeah, because OG has one with the Snapdragon 810. I think they're working on right now, or 808, one of those. And that one's supposed to come out like the end of Q1.
So if we have the Moto X, the Moto G, three new Droid devices on Verizon, the 5.9-inch phablet, the 5.2-inch Moto Nexus device, we're at 7. So maybe they do. Maybe we'll actually see 8 new phones by Christmas from Motorola.
And that's surprising because they've only launched one phone in 8 months.
Yep. Yeah.
I didn't
Well,
know
and
they're gonna launch 8 in like 3 months.
I kind of doubt that we're going to see anything in the Droid line because that was supposed to all be flushed out. In the
I
first
don't know.
18 months after Google bought Motorola.
I really have no idea because I mean, based on what Verizon said last year, Motorola is now the exclusive manufacturer for it. So I don't know if they got a new contract or what that is. Because before you had HTC and Samsung also doing them.
Yeah, yeah. So they re-upped with Motorola exclusively. Interesting.
I'm sure Verizon threw them plenty of money that they'll be more than happy to do more droids.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I mean, their shipments increased 30% from last quarter to the quarter before that, and 60% year over year. So what they're doing now is starting to work for them.
And as long as they keep rolling out, unlocked GSM stuff, and across all the carriers here in the U.S.,
And
like
update.
yeah, and the updates like they did with the Moto X, they've been really great about all that stuff. So that'll be good. The Moto X renders, like we said, it looks pretty legit. Unfortunately, because they look pretty ugly. I'm not really a fan. But no new news or specs or confirmations or anything with that leak. Just the press renders for Verizon.
Yeah, as far as specs go, I'd expect everything that we see like on most other flagships, except for maybe 2 gigs of RAM and probably a Snapdragon 800.
Yeah, we're probably not going to see an 801 or 805 with this.
I mean, don't really need it because I mean, it's gonna be 1080p anyway, so you don't need the 805 really for that. I mean, it'll be nice, but it's not really needed because the S4 Pro did really well last year on the Moto X because it's just optimized so well.
Yeah, and that's the thing with that is with that X8 computing system.
Yep.
They did really well with that. I'm sure it'll carry over to the X Plus One. A new Pad Phone Mini X rolled through the FCC this week too. So Asus and AT&T have partnered up on that. That is what you would expect out of a Pad Phone Mini X. I really wish this concept would catch on. Maybe I just need to go spend some money on it, so I'm one of the people that's helping. Because I really do. I think it's a great concept.
Yep, because it's like having 2 lines and one device.
Yep.
Which is why I'm surprised that AT&T picked it up of all carriers.
It's a 4.3-inch phone and a 7-inch tablet.
Yep. I think the regular one's a 5-inch phone and 10-inch tablet.
Mm-hmm. And it's still mid-range specs, but it's got AT&T's LTE bands. And AT&T's already partnered with them on the other one that launched this year.
Yeah, but you're also getting a phone and a tablet for the price of any other phone, basically, because it's not really more expensive. It's the same price as like the S5 or the M8, etc.
Exactly. So that's I'm glad to see that still happening. What else? Barnes & Noble unveiled the new Samsung Galaxy Tab 4 Nook this week. So that's a partnership between Barnes & Noble and Samsung that we've talked about in the past. It just gets Barnes & Noble out of the hardware business. And it's basically a Tab 4 with the Nook app loaded on it.
There's a couple other Nook apps on there from what I saw from the presentation, but we didn't go. We didn't think it was going to be that big of a deal.
Yeah. It's $179. But it's really not bad because you're getting a full tablet that runs Android, that has access to the Play Store, and you get the Nook app.
And if you're between that and the Kindle Fire, I would say go for that because you get Google services.
Exactly. That
And
makes all the difference.
Even with the Amazon App Store, you still get old apps. When I was using the Amazon Fire phone, I noticed that the Dropbox app was a lot older than the one on my G3 and even a couple other phones that I had that I was using at that time.
Yeah, developers don't keep their apps updated.
Yep, on the Amazon App Store.
So that's if you have the option, definitely get a device that has access to the Play Store. And then Singtel announced a Galaxy S5 and Galaxy Alpha with LTE-A. This I wanted to talk about just because it has something that they're calling 4G Plus. It's basically LTE advanced with 300 megabit download speeds. And I want that in the US. That's not happening anytime soon. They're 12 to 18 months ahead of us.
But I know AT&T is working on LTE-A. I think it's supposed to be rolled out later this year. But as long as the networks are as overcrowded as they are, we won't see those speeds. They'll just be theoretical speeds for us.
And I'm sure that their subscribers on Singtel are not getting 300 megabit speeds all the time, or maybe ever, but it's definitely faster.
I've seen a lot of speed tests over there that are like over 100 megabytes. So I know Sprint Spark is supposed to be either 150 or 300 theoretical speeds. But then again, you have to be in a place that has Spark.
Right.
Yeah, that's about 27 markets, I think, now, or something like that.
24? 27?
It's in the 20s.
Yeah, it sounds right. But even still, 150 theoretical, if I could actually get 60 or 80, that's 4 times faster than what I'm getting on T-Mobile.
At home on T-Mobile, I get about 10, but when I go in the suburbs, I can get like 60 or more. On the G3, the G2, it's a little bit lower.
Yeah, see, and I pretty consistently get 15 to 20 everywhere I go on T-Mobile. Yeah. But you're in a bigger city, so.
Well, emptier city.
That's true too. I'm surprised at how few people have T-Mobile in Richmond, though, man. It really is surprising to me. Most people around here all have Verizon or Sprint.
Here, pretty much everybody's on like a MVNO prepaid or whatever. Most of them is actually on MetroPCS, so now it's the same carrier. And I'm surprised, even like downtown, you can get pretty good speeds on T-Mobile.
That's interesting you mentioned MetroPCS before we jump into some software stuff. So I was flashing new ROM on my OnePlus. My OnePlus One. I jumped over to Madi and was using it for a little while. I was having some issues with boot loops. Went back to CM11S, and the boot loop issues were fixed on Madi ROM. But I noticed when I jumped into the settings and went to the mobile networks, my access point defaulted. I don't know if you can see it. Defaulted to a MetroPCS access point.
Yeah, I noticed. I think within like the last year, when you go into like the APN, you always see like T-Mobile, then the IPv6 and MetroPCS in there.
And that's new around here. I hadn't seen the MetroPCS before. It also gives me Straight Talk and something called Simple.
Yeah, the Straight Talk and Simple Mobile are actually from CM. Because I noticed that when I flash CM on certain phones, it'll give me those.
But I thought it was interesting that it defaulted to MetroPCS, and I had to switch it over to the T-Mobile LTE.
I know Metro or T-Mobile is switching all Metro's networks over to GSM. I think Las Vegas is done. I'm not sure about Detroit. I haven't really looked into it. But they say they're ahead of schedule, so we'll see. Because they have They had Viva LTE already before T-Mobile bought them. I think they were actually first, but they only have a few markets anyways.
And I've been tempted to test it out, just see if MetroPCS gets any kind of signal around me. I immediately switched it over to T-Mobile because I'm not on MetroPCS. But
something else I noticed with T-Mobile this week is a lot of calls I've made to family members that don't have like T-Mobile branded phones. They're like unlocked phones. I still get like the HD voice icon up there, and nice. I thought before that was only for phones that could handle HD voice, like the G3, the G2, the S5, T-Mobile phones, not unlocked ones. So I guess it works for everything now.
Yeah, that's nice, or at least most current phones.
I didn't notice a difference in voice, but
I couldn't tell you, man. I don't talk on the phone enough.
I don't either.
on my personal phone. So I can definitely tell you that Verizon's voice network could use that bump to HD because that's my work phone, and
I
that is
think
pretty crappy generally.
I think Sprint is rolling out HD voice, or they have already. I know AT&T did it at CES this year because Ledger was making fun of them.
Because they were behind, I guess.
Yeah, because T-Mobile rolled it out like a year or two before them or something.
Yep. So let's jump into some software stuff, man.
Yep.
Because we did see this week the Humble Bundle. This was just yesterday. The Humble Bundle. There's a SEGA mobile bundle that's live. So if you're not familiar with the Humble Bundle, how that works is it's a pay what you want service. You get games or apps, or most of the time it's cross-platform. In this case, it's Android. They're DRM free. If you pay over a certain amount, you get more apps. And as more people buy it, the average, so it's based on like an average of what people pay. The more people pay more money, the higher the average gets, and so the more you have to pay to unlock additional apps. This one, because it's all based on SEGA games, started out with Sonic 4 Episode 1, Choo Choo Rocket, Virtua Tennis Challenge, what else? SEGA All-Stars Racing, Sonic 4 Episode 2, and the original Crazy Taxi were additional games that you can unlock. So it's pretty cool. And the proceeds go to support different charities. This time it's Child's Play Charity, Water Aid, and UNICEF. So if you're looking for some new games and you like Sega games, who doesn't love Sonic, right? Let me check and see what it's up to now, because I know yesterday when we looked, it was only like $6 and some change to unlock the additional games. But you can go in and pay nothing if you want to, or pay a penny and get 3 games.
Yeah, the additional ones are $384 now.
Yeah.
So it dropped quite a bit, almost half.
It did. So that means a lot of people are getting free games.
Yeah.
People are just trying to get the Sonic 4, Choo Choo Rocket, and Virtua Tennis.
Yep.
But they will also add more games to the bundle. The more popular it is, the more games they'll add to it. So far, in the last 24 to 36 hours since it launched yesterday, they've raised $120,000. So it's a pretty cool cause.
And 31,000 people have purchased it. So.
Yep. And I always like to pay attention to these Humble Bundles because you can find some really cool stuff at a really good discount. And it always goes to proceeds go to help some charity, or at the very least, you're helping out developers. They've got the regular Humble Bundle is usually desktop software or games, and then they do a weekly bundle. They do a bundle with some books, and then the mobile bundle too. And then they've just got a regular store where you can go buy stuff if you want to support them. But that is currently available, and some cool stuff there. Uber launched their own API this week.
Yep, so you can call cars from other apps.
And this is a big deal.
Yep.
It's huge and I've seen it already integrated. So this was just announced yesterday.
Yeah, they said they worked with a bunch of partners. I don't remember the names of them to have it ready, like for when they announced it.
One of them was Expensify, because my wife's boss used Expensify to call a car to pick her up at the airport. So she just went and put everything in her, in the Expensify app, and it recognized that, and it let her jump in using that Uber API. Expensify tied into it and saw that she was traveling, gave her the option to call an Uber car right from the Expensify app.
Yep, the
Uh,
apps that they put in their blog post that already have it integrated is Expensify, Hinge, Hyatt Hotels and Resorts, Memento, OpenTable, Starbucks Coffee, Tempo Smart Calendar, Timeout, TripAdvisor, TripCase, and United Airlines.
so yeah, they got in with airlines, TripAdvisor, even the Starbucks and like OpenTable if you're at a bar.
And on the right side of the post on our site, it has a big ad for United Airlines.
Does it?
Yeah, right next to where it says United Airlines in the post.
Targeted.
Yep.
That's pretty cool. So yeah, that's I mean, Uber is really Uber and Lyft both are really disrupting the taxi industry. The
And
taxi unions are not happy.
and that's not all the Uber news from this week.
What
They
did I miss?
announced they announced the corner store in Washington D.C. So like if you need to get milk from the store or something, you can have like a car go and get it and bring it to you.
That's awesome. I would do that all the time. I hate going to the grocery store.
Right now, it's only in Washington D.C. So everybody that's there should try it out because they said the more people that try it out and like it, the more likely they're gonna move it to other areas because it's just an experiment right now. I think there's like over 100 different items you can choose from.
Just basic stuff like milk and bread and eggs and
Yep,
cheese and stuff
toothpaste.
that I buy all the time.
Trying to find where it is. It doesn't run on the weekends right now, but it's 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Monday through Friday.
That's killer, man. I hope it takes off because we've seen a lot of grocery delivery services, and if you're not in a big city,
Yeah,
New York, Philly, DC, like you got to be in a big city or those things just don't last.
yeah, they have a
So,
bunch of stuff. First aid stuff, hair care, household, even office supplies. They have a whole like page list of stuff. So I'm sure they'll add more. Um, doesn't look like there's a lot of stuff that you had to keep cold on the list.
yeah, well, I'm sure. I'm sure there's not a lot of, perishable items,
Yeah,
but still, it's convenient. And if you're, a recluse that never wants to leave your house, this is an option for you too.
I really hope it takes off because it could it could really make some money for them.
Well, and they'll roll it out like they did the original Uber service. It'll start in a couple of cities. Like in this, they're testing it in DC to see how it goes, and they'll roll it out slowly if it's successful in one city. But
Did Uber start in DC? Because I didn't really start paying attention until like a month ago.
no, Uber started in I believe San Francisco and then New York City, and now it's in a bunch of cities.
Yeah, I know it's here in Detroit, which I didn't know that, but it's here. I've never used it, but I guess I could.
I don't know how many big cities it's in, but it's in most of the major cities in the U.S.
I know it's
Uh,
in a lot of cities outside the U.S. as well, because I looked at the map a couple of days ago.
we don't have it here in Richmond yet, but I am waiting. There's a couple of people that I know that have seen like Facebook ads to be an Uber driver
Yeah.
in Richmond, so they're looking at expanding it to Richmond soon. But by population, Richmond's a pretty small city, so
Yeah, they just gotta, update their app so it works with Android Wear, because Lyft did that before launch.
yeah, yep, that's a really cool feature too.
Did you hear about that story where random people are getting into cars thinking they're Uber cars?
Man, I would deck somebody if they got in my car thinking it was an Uber car.
That was
I did hear
hilarious.
about that. There was a story I read of somebody got into a car thinking it was an Uber car. It wasn't, and the person that mistakenly got in the car looked at the driver and said, "Well, can you still drive me to the airport?" Get out of my car. It's ridiculous, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's pretty cool. And Uber is blowing up, man. This API is going to help them even more. So then the other software, the other app news this week that I saw was that Swype is rolling out new themes. So SwiftKey did it with their own themes and their own theme store. Swype is doing it with pro sports, starting with MLS, so Major League Soccer. And Swype is also on sale right now for 99 cents. So if you haven't purchased it, it's only $1 right now. But the apps are all available the themes rather are all available as in-app purchases right now. Like I said, it's just soccer. Hopefully they'll expand it, to other sports. But I thought that was pretty cool too.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll expand it to other sports, especially. Well, I guess they kind of missed the ball for NFL themes, seeing as it's about to start pretty soon.
Yeah, and there's a lot of licensing stuff that goes into that,
Yeah, that too.
But yes, I mean that's pretty much it, man. That's what I had on the agenda for tonight. What's new in your Android world?
Well, I don't have a whole lot, but I got a new D brand skin for the G3. I actually got a red back and black accents with the black on the front.
Nice.
I have all the fingerprints on there, but it still shows the OG logo. D brand sends you 3, so you can either show the whole logo or just the circle or cover it all up for the front. As far as apps go, let's see. I don't think I really have anything else, but Secret is supposed to be getting removed from the Play Store. So
Really?
yeah, and they want Google to remotely wipe it from everybody's device.
For what? I mean, I don't use it very often anymore.
I have no idea, really. This is another app that actually Nick turned me on to. It's called Wally. It was after we were talking about the Walls app last week for wallpapers. The reason why I like it is you can sort it by 2560 by 1440 resolution wallpapers, and that's especially good on the G3 because it has that resolution.
Yeah, that's cool.
There's not a whole lot of those wallpapers in here, but there's a good number of them compared to especially other apps.
Sweet, man.
And I think that's all.
Yeah, and it's been kind of a quiet week. We're leading up to IFA and then gearing up for the retail holiday really starts September 1st.
Yeah.
Just a couple of weeks.
September 3rd and 4th, we've got like 200 press conferences.
Yeah, holy smokes, man. It's going to be busy. It's going to be a busy week.
Yeah.
So,
and Apple's doing their thing the same month.
Yep.
Good thing we don't cover them.
Yeah, good night. That'd be insane.
It already is going to be. You got the Note 4, HTC's got some stuff, Motorola's got some stuff, Sony doesn't really come here anyways. Huawei, they don't really come here either.
But they'll announce some stuff at IFA that we'll be covering for sure. So, very cool. Well, new from me this week, hardware-wise, I got this nifty new MPOW speaker that is actually sounds pretty good. So it's just a little small Bluetooth speaker. It's got the whole metal, the whole trimmer on the outside is metal. The front and the back, where the speakers actually are, is plastic. But it looks pretty good. It sounds pretty good. It talks to you.
Power on. Power off.
So when you turn it on and off, it just says power on, power off. But yeah, overall, I've been pretty happy with it. I'm noticing a trend with Bluetooth speakers that I don't like in these buttons on the top. So you've got control buttons, right? And all of them, not just MPOW, any Bluetooth wireless Bluetooth speaker I've used, it's got a play button, which makes sense, play and pause. And then there's a plus and minus that you think should be volume, and it's not volume. It changes the tracks, and that drives me nuts. It's just not labeled correctly. Put the little arrows to go forward and back. Skip tracks. Don't use the plus and minus. There's been like 3 or 4 speakers I reviewed in the last couple of months that have all been like this. And that's fine. I would prefer to have volume controls on the speaker. But if that's not a thing that you can do, that's okay. Just don't label it as plus and minus, because then I think it's volume, and I go to push it, and I change the track.
Yeah, because even on this tilt one, it's got the plus and minus down there. It's a little dusty because I haven't used it for a while, but it's got the Bluetooth there, then plus and minus, and that's not volume either.
They're all like that, man.
I didn't really notice it until you said that.
It would be nice. I would prefer to have the volume on the speaker, because if I'm changing tracks, I pick up my phone so I can see what I'm changing to.
Yep.
If I'm changing volume, then it's easy to just do volume. But it's a Bluetooth 4.0 speaker. Some of the other, I've been pretty impressed with MPOW stuff generally. Some of their other stuff I've used is Bluetooth 2.0, not 4.0 or 2.1.
Yeah, I have one of their speakers too. It's a small one, but it actually has volume and skipping or next and previous tracks as well.
Oh, that'd be nice.
But I think that one's like Bluetooth 2.1 as well.
Yeah. So I'm hoping to see
it's like a $15, $20 speaker. So.
And this one, the MPOW M box, I'm hoping that they step it up and everything moving forward is Bluetooth 4.0. I think this speaker's like $40 or $50.
Not bad.
On Amazon, but it's brand new for them. So, and it's pretty decent. So I've had it for, I don't know, like 3 or 4 days now. I'll have a review up this weekend for it. But
because a lot of the decent Bluetooth speakers are usually around $100.
Mm-hmm.
So 50 is not bad at all.
And like I said, overall, I've been impressed with MPOW stuff. It's about half of what you'd spend on other Bluetooth accessories, but they're pretty good quality and pretty good sound coming out of it. So
it's kind of like Vizio, cheap but good.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. App-wise, the only thing new that I'm really playing with this week is this app called DScout. So it's brightness is too high. That's one of the things I like about Madi is there's put a brightness bar up top. So I don't know if you can see it. Now it's too dim. Anyway, it's kind of like a cross between Early Bird, that beta service. Early Birds would be like a beta testing service where they let you test apps and stuff. DScout is kind of like a cross between that and like a mystery shopper app. They advertise new missions. I got one the other day and I didn't reply to it quickly enough. That was for, let me see if I can look it up. New opportunity from DScout was for a new app to test out, and it was kind of cool because once you complete the mission, they send you like $40 or $50. Now you got to do a little bit more for some of these. You got to go, you sign up, you download an app, or you test out a service, or sometimes you got to go somewhere and take some pictures of something. Sometimes you got to take some screenshots, so it's a little more in depth. But I haven't had any missions yet. I just signed up for it a couple days ago. I had that one mission that I missed out on. But I'm keeping an eye on that. They once you complete the mission, they send you a check in the mail. It takes like 2 to 3 weeks, according to a couple of people. But if you can do a couple a month,
they should just do PayPal.
That would be way easier than cutting a check, and it'd be less expensive for them than
you can get it sooner too. It'd basically be automatic.
Yep. So maybe they switch to that. It's a brand new service, but it's called DScout, all one word. So pretty cool. I'll see how that plays out if I can get any of these missions and make a couple of bucks with that, on the weekends or whatever.
Yep.
Nothing wrong with a little extra beer money. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it. I think that's gonna wrap up episode 73 for us, man.
Yep.
You can find us on obviously AndroidHeadlines.com, on Twitter at AndroidHeadline without the S, Google Plus, Facebook, all the places. That's not true, not all the places. Just all the places that we want to be. So, yeah, I'm bringing you the latest Android news headlines. Be on the lookout for the podcast. That'll be up shortly. You'll be able to download that, take it with you this weekend. And all this coverage coming up from IFA, man, it's going to be a busy time. So, also, don't forget about the LG G3 contest. We're giving away an LG G3 and a G Watch.
It ends Monday, so make sure you enter.
Yep. So thanks again to Slick Wraps for sponsoring that. Contest ends Monday. Go sign up, win yourself an LG G3 and a watch and a whole bunch of skins. But Alex, man, thanks for hanging out. It's always a pleasure.
Not a problem. Good night, everybody.